Hey everybody, Cathy McLeish here again with Alcoholism Unpacked, trying to raise a little awareness about alcoholism, how it affects people, their environment, their family, their loved ones. And today I want to talk about just that, family and the loved ones. And I don't think, if anybody's following my videos, I don't think anyone would doubt the compassion and the understanding and the love that I have for the alcoholic, practicing or in recovery. I've been there, I've done that, and I have been married to someone who was also a practicing alcoholic. So I understand that hardship. However, in our disease, we affect so many people, and that has to be addressed. I want people to see, if they could, through the denial of what's going on in their family and see the damage that could be happening right in front of their eyes to their children and their loved ones. So if you are partnered with someone who is drinking too much, a heavy drinker, an alcoholic drinker, someone that stops and starts but doesn't really get into any plan of change or recovery, I want you to listen and maybe take stock of if any of these things are happening in your family and what you might do about it. I know we don't have the power to change the alcoholic. We really don't have the power to get them sober. I tried that so many ways with myself and also with the alcoholic I was married to for 8 years. So I know that isn't where we start. We have to start with ourselves. We have to start with the fact that we can't fix them. And yet we could be in an environment that is very unhealthy for us and for the people that we love. So if we have children, we need to maybe take stock of what is going on in their lives and if the environment that they're in is actually having a negative effect on their life. So how are we doing socially? There's a real stigma to alcoholism. And if somebody in my family is drinking, if somebody is unpredictable, if somebody is not trustworthy, if they don't show up, if I don't know how they're going to show up, am I going to invite my friends over to my home? Alcoholism tends to isolate families, and it will isolate children from their friends or children from their own families. If they're too young to go somewhere, then they don't have a lot of social interaction with their friends because their home isn't a safe place or a predictable place to bring people. And you might want to argue with that, but you know, that is relative to whatever the child sees and feels. And if they are not comfortable with what they'd be inviting their friend into, then they're not going to do it. So I want us to look at things from a child's perspective. Do they feel safe? Do they feel comfortable? Do they feel like it's socially acceptable, the environment that they live in? Is it normal to maybe have a father or a mother that is like a roller coaster and you never know what's going to happen next? To have a family life where people are there 1 minute and they're gone the next, where they might be arguing or they might be happy, where they might say things that could embarrass you and then they don't even remember it the next day. Sometimes we set up this environment for children with our drinking, with our alcoholism, with our enabling of the alcoholic, or just the fact that we are still with that person who is not recovered. We set up our children to not have a safe place to bring their friends, to not really have a safe place to speak and say how they feel about their home life. And we're not even aware of it. I know in my drinking, the last thing that I was really thinking about was my children and what was going on with them. Now, was I getting them fed and dressed and off to school? Yes, I was. But was I worried about the fact that we might have kept them up the night before with our arguing? That my anxiety about bills or his drinking might be, affecting them in the way that I'm talking and reacting to them? The fact that they can't trust how I'm going to show up in the morning or the afternoon when I pick them up from school, is that affecting them? So we have our children in this environment that it's like they're a pinball in a pinball machine, and they just get to get shot out of that machine and bounce from here to there, and adjust. And that's really quite unfair. So as a parent that is not drinking, as a parent that is responsible for those kids, if I am with somebody who is drinking too much, I need to take a stand for those children. I need to protect them. I need to maybe get them into some therapy or some counseling so that they have a safe place where they can talk about what's going on in their life and even know that maybe it is not healthy. One of the things that can happen to children in an alcoholic environment is they move inside themselves. And we may think there is no problem because they're not talking about the problem. But actually, if it's affecting their self-esteem, if it's affecting their self-worth, they're not speaking up. They are losing their voice a little bit at a time. And it can be taking its toll on their academics, on their social life with their friends. It can be taking its toll on their sleep, on their eating. And as for the person who is not drinking, whether that is the adult or the children, we can look for something else to dive into to escape from what is going on around us. If that's reading or academics, we might see that as a good thing. If it's food or screen time, we might see it as a negative thing. But anything that is out of balance for a child or an adult is unhealthy. And oftentimes in this alcoholic atmosphere, if we pulled back from friends and family, if our social circle has shrunk down to almost nothing, there is not really too many honest people reflecting back to us what they see. So this video is just to get you to take a look at your environment, to take a look at your family life, look at it through the eyes of your children and see if there might be a step you can take, something that you can do. You can watch more videos, you can subscribe to this channel, you can look outside yourself for a program or a therapist or a doctor who can give you some advice on what to do if this situation is not going to change. How will I protect myself and my family? So thanks, Cathy McLeish, again, trying to unpack a little bit of the truth about alcoholism, how it affects the people that we love, whether we realize it or not, and what they might do to protect themselves. Thanks.